First on Fox, Baltimore Mayor Brandon Scott responds to Fox 45 following a curfew van that was vandalized over the weekend in South Baltimore.
It is the first violent incident we have seen since the curfew went into effect 2 weeks ago.
Jeff Abel is live with the latest. First on Fox. Jeff?
Well, the mayor is insisting tonight there will be no changes in protocol even after vandals shattered a window of a city van with volunteers inside.
We know that vandalism happens everywhere in this country every day.
Mayor Brandon Scott was downplaying today the vandalism of a youth curfew van that happened while youth curfew volunteers were inside.
And we know that things have happened to vehicles consistently across this world. But what we won't do is highlight the extreme.
It was a little before midnight Saturday night here on Denham Circle in Cherry Hill when a city van, very similar to this one, was vandalized, and volunteers inside were forced to retreat. According to a statement from the mayor's office, at approximately 11:34 p.m., an engagement van was attempting to park and engage a group of young people when it was struck by an unidentified object that shattered the back window of the vehicle. Staff immediately followed protocol and notified their supervisor, who instructed them to return to the C.C. Jackson Recreation Center and debrief.
They were probably defending themselves from what they feared. Here you have some people trying to pick them up at night in a white van?
The city's new curfew enforcement effort relies on volunteers, not police, to engage youth. The president of the police union insists it poses a high risk to volunteers, writing today that some of these juvenile curfew violators are in fact criminals. Some don't hesitate to violently engage with the police. Why would they hesitate to do the same with a volunteer?
What we have to do is not sensationalize things.
He's the one that sensationalized it when he came up with this idea of a curfew.
No one inside the van was injured when vandals shattered the rear window, but with summer now beginning, critics fear what else could happen next.
It puts kids at risk, it puts volunteers at risk, it puts police at risk, and it has only exacerbated a bad situation and made it a catastrophe.
Well, so far, no one has been arrested in connection with this incident. We're live tonight. Jeff Abel, Fox 45 News.
Jeff, thank you. New tonight, more young people caught up in crime. In Glen Burnie, 2 stolen vehicles identified. 4 teens too young to drive are arrested. Keith Daniels with a neighbor who witnessed all the commotions and the call for accountability tonight. Keith?
Well, Mary, Anne Arundel County Police tell us those 4 teens, 3 girls and 1 boy, face several charges, including auto theft. And tonight, those arrests are raising a familiar issue. It all unfolded outside of the apartments on Juneberry Way near Shekels Road in Glen Burnie. Matthew Darden had just pulled up to his home when he saw and heard the commotion.
Thought it was my mom, so I had to my mom, so I rushed out to see was my mom okay, but you know, she was good.
Several Anne Arundel County police officers had converged on the parking lot. According to police, officers were checking the area at about 11:30 Tuesday night when they saw a 2016 Hyundai sedan parked halfway out of a parking spot. Officers say they saw 4 teenagers get out of the car, went into a home. Police discovered the car had been stolen. Another vehicle parked in another spot, they say, also stolen. Police arrested the teens, 2 of them 14 years old, 2 others 15. For Darden, the incident raising the issue once again over juvenile crime and holding young offenders accountable.
If you do the crime, you got to do the time.
Law enforcement agencies in the area say there's been an uptick in juveniles involved in crime, including homicides and carjackings. News of the arrest of those teens suspected of auto theft in Anne Arundel County comes as Vincent Schiraldi, Secretary of the Maryland Department of Juvenile Services, hit the airwaves today on WBAL radio, talking about how he intends to hold juvenile offenders accountable.
I think that it needs to be some combination of what's been tried with this young person before and how serious their offense was. Some of it's data-driven, but some of it's common sense. Like, you can't over and over and over let somebody keep messing up.
It's heartbreaking. It's unfortunate that they had to, go down that road of dishonesty and thievery.
Well, Anne Arundel County Police and the Harford County Sheriff's Office have both been very vocal about the laws that they say make it difficult to hold juvenile offenders accountable. Meantime, Schiraldi has said people as old as 25 years old should remain in juvenile court. Now, Fox 45 News sat down with Schiraldi last month. You can see and hear a full interview about him standing by those comments. Just go to foxbaltimore.com. We're live tonight. Keith Daniels, Fox 45 News.
Keith, thank you. Well, during the legislative session, hundreds of bills were passed and then signed by Governor Wes Moore, but not one to hold youth offenders accountable. Last week in Prince George's County, when a 15-year-old accused of trying to kill a student on a school bus was arrested, the state's attorney there said laws may need to change. Excuse me. And even I can't talk.
I'll pick that up, Mary. And even parents should be held accountable when it comes to youth crime.
When you look at what's happening now, the carjackings, the guns that are being recovered are not registered to the parent for the most part. They are illegal guns. And so right now, as it currently stands, there is no mechanism for me to then hold the parent responsible. I think the community is demanding parent accountability and responsibility, and the law should reflect the level of importance that parents play in their child's life.
In Baltimore, the latest tool in the crime fight is a Peacemobile. The Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement, or MONSE, will deploy the bus to areas after traumatic events. And today, the city's Board of Estimates signed off on the bus driver's salary, more than $80,000. Well, that's more than a newly hired city state's attorney, which is about $75,000. And city police say the starting salary for an officer is just over $60,000. And according to Salary.com, an average paramedic in Baltimore who might respond to the same traumatic scene makes under $50,000. Now, there are unanswered questions on the effectiveness of safe streets in Baltimore and how your tax dollars are spent. Mackenzie Frost has an update on a 2-year investigation into the program and an apparent move by the city away from more oversight.
Fox 45 News has been investigating the Safe Streets program, digging into how the gun violence prevention program operates, from threatening to sue City Hall for information to going door to door at all locations, all looking to learn how violence interrupters are trained, who they are, and what their jobs are in the community. Most of the locations empty. Last year, Mayor Brandon Scott announcing a shift in management after relentless questions from Fox 45 News. Instead of a patchwork of different nonprofits running each site, now the city giving management to 2 nonprofits, Catholic Charities and LifeBridge. The contracts now given annually, worth millions of dollars approved by the city's spending board. But now, according to outgoing Mayor's Office of Neighborhood Safety and Engagement Director Shantae Jackson, that yearly evaluation will change.
We're going to continue our work to grow and connect the efforts of our CVI ecosystem by establishing multi-year Safe Streets contracts for the first time.
This needs to be done on an annual basis.
Taxpayer watchdog David Williams says the city is looking to skirt responsibility for a program plagued with questions.
When you have multi-year contracts, there's no accountability. This is the last time to give multi-year contracts for an entity that is going through so many changes and transitions. This is the time to really hold them accountable and make sure the money is being spent wisely.
We tried to ask Jackson in person Monday night, but she refused.
Director Jackson, can we talk about the multi-year Safe Streets contracts?
We don't have any comment today.
Requesting we send an email instead.
Email me.
Okay. So we sent emails to Jackson and her team Tuesday and again Wednesday, trying to find out when the multi-year contracts for Safe Streets will begin. Also asking, how long will the multi-year contracts last? Will the contracts still be evaluated annually to ensure program effectiveness and accountability? Why is MONSE moving to this model? Jackson refusing to answer the questions.
Safe Streets right now has more questions than answers, and that's why there needs to be tight accountability, tight transparency with every dollar that is spent through this program.
Safe Streets remains a program the city backs, despite concerns about workers doing their job, showing up, and preventing gun violence. The agency implementing Safe Streets will be without a director in less than 30 days, and now more questions about oversight and accountability. In Baltimore, Mackenzie Frost, Fox 45 News.
I'm Kai Jackson. Thank you for watching. Here's another video to watch. Also, please take a moment to subscribe to our channel.